Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure
Sarah.
to have you here with us in London. Thanks a lot for taking the time.
Thank you.
Season 1 of Silo left us on a real cliffhanger. Coming into season 2, obviously, big revelation. There's more than one Silo. Maybe you can set the scene for us a bit. What can fans expect from this next instalment, and particularly from your characters?
I mean, we come out of the gates hitting on all cylinders. As soon as we see Juliet go over the hill, I think it causes chaos within our silo. It's like the thing that we've lived by, the biggest truth in our world has been proved to be a lie. It sets everything in motion. It's a huge change for the silo.
Yeah, this notion that we're being lied to just sparks deep.
It's so hard to not give away.
It is, yeah.
It's like walking this tightrope.
Yeah,
Giving away.
but it's the search and the desire for justice
and truth.
And how everyone responds differently to that, whether upper, mids, lower, where you are in the silo, or even, we're both in the base of the silo and we come at it from completely different angles.
And yeah, how did you approach each of your characters in that sense? How they react to this idea of rebellion, how they should, respond to this new information, and seeing what's happened to Juliet, even how they see Juliet and how their loyalties lie with her. So what do you think the differences might be for each of you?
I think the major struggle for Knox is, he thinks of himself as he doesn't think of himself. He is the leader and the head of Mechanical. But at the end of season 1, he turned his family in. He basically, for the good of the silo, or for the good of his people, he turned Juliet in. And so he's left with that sort of hole in his heart, but also his belief that this was the right thing to do and that the sacrifice was worth it. And that's called into question as the season goes on. So I think his idea of what a leader is part of his journey, and it changes. At first he wants to work within the system, and then without giving too much away, that doesn't always work,
And Shirley, she's seen her best friend, more than that, her family, walk over the hill. And not only does she not know where she is, she doesn't know how that's happened. So she just needs to find out. And she's so forthright about it and just dives into everything. And she kind of won't stop at anything and has to be pulled back a little bit. Just
We have some disagreements.
Yeah, we have some disagreements, yeah.
Handle rebellions.
And one of the things that really stands out about this show is just the incredible world building. And I think we sort of lean into that kind of cyberpunk aesthetic even more here. And even though you're in this kind of dystopian world, funnily enough, it's not all sort of high tech. It's almost that kind of retro sort of world. It's feels very grounded, feels very much about survival. What's it like being on these sets? It must just be incredible.
Oh, it's incredible. You're in these apartments, everything works. Everything feels real. There's so much detail that you can just feel like you are fully there and can explore anything and everything, basically.
Yeah, it's like if you were a kid and you thought of the ultimate playground and you got thrown into it. I mean, the whole floor, there's an entire floor that is real. And a staircase that's 4 stories high that is real. And so as an actor, it makes our job so much easier. Because as soon as you walk on set and you have the dirt and you have the clothes, your job is halfway done.
And we're filming on one section of the silo, which feels huge.
Yeah.
You think the entirety of it just kind of blows your mind a bit.
Yeah.
And in terms of the takeaways from the show, I mean, I guess we're in a world that's not our own, but it's not too difficult to project it also onto ours. And a lot of those questions around truth, around, who's doing things for the good of the whole and who's doing things for themselves, or even sort of that maybe this isn't a ridiculous idea. This could happen within maybe not our lifetimes, but our children's lifetime, with climate change, etc. So what do you think some of the questions are that are raised by the show?
It's terrifying, isn't it? It's a little terrifying how relevant the show is. I know that when I'm reading, I mean, you can really spiral out if you think about it too hard, because it's not quite as big a leap as maybe one would have thought even 20 years ago or whatever.
And it's fully functioning down there. They've had to create this space to survive, but now that's their world.
And the idea of what is true and can you believe your own eyes, is the screen telling? I mean, is there a more relevant thing than to ask, is this screen telling the truth? And we have, we don't have little phones, but we have a huge screen, and we're asking the same questions.
And of that, people in positions of power, where are you getting your information from and what to believe?
100%. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Can't wait for everyone else to see season 2.
We're
Congratulations
excited.
on the show.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a lot.
much.
Cheers.
Thank
Nice to meet
you.
you.